this happen. Um, Ram, I know you are from Chennai, but thank you for ensuring that this wonderful opportunity came our way. Jayesh Garu, thank you for introducing me to Auntie. Good to see you, Raymond Peter, sir. Been a while. In fact, Raymond Peter Garu was one of my first principal secretaries when I became a minister back in 2014. So it's always good to catch up, with somebody as senior and somebody as knowledgeable. Thank you, sir. To the entire family of Ivanti, thank you for inviting us to this occasion. Now, I was just telling these guys when we were chatting back room that in today's world, where your phone talks to your refrigerator, which also talks to your car, that can talk to your washing machine, we live in this interesting world where of Internet of Things, where each device by itself can start talking to the other without any sort of human intervention. I think we are headed there pretty much. It is both exciting and also a bit scary if you think about it, because I don't know about you guys, but during the pandemic, I got to watch a lot of TV and lot of OTT, series. One of the things I watched was this series called Next. I think it was. Yep. Scary it was. Trust me, because there are devices which are, of course, again, which of course can communicate back to you, but which also apparently can start, building on your behavior, building on your thinking, building on your speech pretty much, and even can possibly read and predict what you would be doing next, which is pretty scary if you ask me. And then I was just sharing with these guys also, while devices by themselves again and their behavior and all the technology that goes into it is of course quite exciting, there is again the entire pandemic that has happened and that has opened our eyes to the possibilities of how we can live, how we can in fact work, how we can coexist with each other in spite of in a virtual world. I think in the last 18 months, for many of us have been an eye opener. For many of us, it has been very, very interesting. In fact, initially when COVID hit us, none of us really were sure on how to handle it. But then when we all started working from home, and when we realized that the reliability of networks and the reliability of broadbands that we use is quite decent, and we can definitely give the output that is required, I think many organizations have started encouraging it. But the fact is, as we become more and more reliable, as we become more and more reliant on broadbands and networks, security becomes a huge challenge for enterprises, for governments, for institutions. Because I remembered what I was told by our dear friend Ajay Banga, who heads Mastercard. Ajay is one of the most respected business leaders in the United States. He's of Indian origin, and he also has a Hyderabadi connection. He went to school in Hyderabad Public School. So when we met him back in the US, he told me, as a CEO of Mastercard, he said, on a good day, my database, my servers get hit by hackers about 30,000 times, and on a bad day, that number could be anything. It could be as high as 100,000. It was scary, the numbers that he was reeling out. And when Srini was just talking about security and hackathons and hackers and all kinds of possibilities, and how, in fact, when Nike was mentioning that 200 million devices, is it? 200 million devices are being protected by your software, from malware. These are scary numbers, because, as you know, politicians, our phones are constantly looked into. I'm sure, there are people of different hues and shades, cutting across the political spectrum, who are wanting to know exactly what my strategies are, what my political strategies are, etc. In winning elections, in contesting, in competing, etc., etc. So yes, we are always constantly paranoid. We are constantly worried. We are constantly looking over our shoulder to see what's happening, who's doing what in my phone, etc. So, guys, thank you very much, for giving us, that confidence that you guys can protect us. You said 200 million devices, so I'm sure I have two devices, which you can certainly protect means you can certainly ensure that they become hack-proof. I doubt it though, but nevertheless. And secondly, what was heartening coming from Srini and Nike was, as a state, we came out with our cyber security policy long time back. In fact, I think it was 6 years ago, Jayesh. 2016, I think it was 5 years ago. When we came out with our cybersecurity policy and when we started working with various institutions on how to possibly develop an ecosystem which will create more entrepreneurs, which will create cyber warriors, which will ensure that our devices, our enterprises, our knowledge, our IP is kept safe. We never thought we'd actually run into a situation where we would eventually be caught in a pandemic where everything will go virtual. But today, if you look around, I think we have shown the world that functioning even in adverse circumstances like COVID and the pandemic has been quite reliable, has been quite easy in fact, and I'm confident that with the kind of experiences we've had and with the kind of software solutions that Ivanti and others produce from our state, our country, I think we can definitely give the confidence to the investors who are coming in from various parts of the world. See, I was just telling these guys that we have some of the best technology companies in the world and they've all made Hyderabad their home. If you look at the top 5 most valued tech companies, all 5 of them, without an exception, have made Hyderabad their second largest base outside of their headquarters. The Apples, Googles, Amazons, Facebooks, Microsofts, Uber, Salesforce, Novartis, the list goes on. In fact, Micron, a huge list of marquee players have made Hyderabad their destination for research and development. What's exciting is, like Srini said, Hyderabad is no more the back office. We take a lot of pride in providing amazing talent pool, amazing think force, which can innovate, which can come out with world-class solutions, which can actually give solutions to the rest of the world as well. And I do hope the numbers that Nike gave us, Ivanti, she said, will grow to 2,000. I hope Nike, that 1,000 will be based in Hyderabad only out of those 2,000. You told me that your parents live in Hyderabad, Srini has a Hyderabad connect, of course Ram has a Hyderabad connect. We'll make sure that we do everything from our side, myself and Jayesh's, to ensure that your operations continue to grow here and you hit that magic 1,000 number ASAP. And I would also like to request you, you mentioned a hackathon with about 1,000 along with our COE and Sriram Garu here. You said 1,000 youngsters would be participating. I think we would also want to be a part of, in fact the government will be a part of this effort. We would want to initiate and we would want to bring in more and more people on board, because crime is also changing as we speak. Crime is not so much about few thugs on the street anymore. Crime is also now changing its form. Cybercrime is becoming more and more dangerous, more and more prevalent. Telangana in fact will be the first state in the country to draft out its own legislation on cybercrime. And we are drafting this in tandem with NALSAR. And we would be happy to share a draft with, or draft legislation to you guys. Possibly you can advise us, because you seem to know a lot of what goes on in the US, Homeland Security and other institutions which are far more experienced. So please advise us, please guide us, because I think once we start with this legislation, once we start understanding how to enforce it, understanding how to prevent cybercrime from happening, I think we would again become a pioneer in the entire country. Because as I know that recently when the IT Standing Committee of Parliamentarians visited Hyderabad, they had told us that there is no national cybercrime or cybercrime legislation or policy. So possibly Telangana's policy will become the beacon, will become the guiding light for the rest of the country as well. So therefore I think more and more inputs coming from you guys would really help all of us. And also tell us, also guide us, how can we build a more robust ecosystem of more and more enterprises in this space, making Hyderabad their home. I look forward to working with my team and myself closely with you guys and understanding this ever-changing, dynamic, technological challenge that we face. So congratulations to Ivanti on making Hyderabad one of their most important centers, and to the entire family of Ivanti. So good luck, keep us safe, keep growing, and I think make Hyderabad your home. Thank you.